Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be the books I've read in 2023. This year was a really good book year for me, especially in university. I find when I'm in university I do not prioritize reading, but this year I really made it a goal to, and I succeeded. In this video I'm just going to give what the book I read, the stars, any trigger warnings if need be, and like a brief summary of the book if I can remember. I actually don't have a lot of the books that I read this year because I gave them away to a lot of my friends. My friend gave me this wonderful book stamp, so I just stamped all my books and gave them to my friends, and I'm just like, return them when you guys are done. I can bet 75% of them have not read any of the books I gave them. But whatever, that's their problem. I'm just going to be using my iPad as a guide because it has a screenshot of all the books I've read because it was on my phone. So the first book I read was It Ends With Us. This book was really good. I gave it 5 stars. It was the second Colleen Hoover book I think I've ever read. I enjoyed, or no, it was my third because I read November 9th, I think, and then Verity. There is some trigger warnings. I would check that out just in case. It's a little bit more mature, so don't read it if you're like 13. Yeah, I really liked it. It was a fast-paced read. I thought that it was really interesting. There were like some parts that were a little cringy, but I felt like that was fine. Overall, good book. I recommend it to like first-time readers or like people trying to get into reading because it's so fast-paced. Said, I feel like Colleen Hoover, because she's so fast-paced, it kind of wrecks every other book because like a lot of books aren't like that. Like they can't just be like, oh, we're in love, oh, we're doing something, oh, I don't know if I like it. A lot of romance books aren't like that, so actually they are, but like other books, what like fantasy books or anything like that, you're obviously gonna find it harder to get into because you're used to Colleen Hoover. The next book I read was Silent Patient, and I actually have it. I read this on the plane actually, and plot twist. I kind of started figuring out the plot twist like 2-3 chapters before. This book really got me into thrillers because I was like, oh, I don't know, like I might be too scared kind of thing, but overall 10 out of 10, really like it. I think I gave it 5 stars as well. Like I'm really easy to please, honestly, when it comes to books. Like just write a good story and I'm set. But yeah, this book, it was good. Obviously it's a thriller, so there's gonna be disturbing parts. I'll give a synopsis, like frick. So this one's just about a girl. Her name's Alicia. Her life seems perfect, has a husband, lives in a nice home, and then all of a sudden she shoots her husband and doesn't say a word. And then a criminal psychotherapist, Theo Faber, is captivated by his story and jumps at the opportunity to work with her. So he works with her, and a lot of stuff happens. For Colleen Hoover fans, this is going to take you forever to read because it's really slow in the beginning. Or at least for me, it felt a little slow. And the next book I read was not Hook, Line, and Sinker. It was 9 Lives. It was about these 9 separate people all get this letter and they all start mysteriously dying, I'm pretty sure. This book was good. It got really predictable at the end. Pretty sure I gave it 4.5 stars because it was predictable. I also got that book for free, so shout out because I got it from a different person. And then I read It Starts With Us. This book was not necessary at all. I'm sorry, Colleen, it was not. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, for people who don't know. It Ends With Us is the first book, and then It Starts With Us is the second book. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4.5 stars. It's about Atlas and Lily. It Ends With Us ended so good, in my opinion, that there wasn't a need for a second book. I think it was just like a way for Colleen to make more money. I'm totally getting blacklisted. If I ever get PR from authors, it's not going to be Colleen Hoover, but whatever. It Starts With Us was really cringy. Like, the Little Nemo references just got way out of hand. Then I read Rock, Paper, Scissors. And let me tell you, this one was also a thriller. I gave it 5 stars, 4.5, about this guy and his wife go on a retreat. A lot of sus stuff starts happening when they're at their vacation, and then there's flip-flop between POVs, and then you figure out what's going on, and it's crazy. And then I read Hook, Line, and Sinker, and this one put me in a slump. This one, no offense to Tessa Bailey, it's like so long, this book. It's or it felt really long. It's like about a couple who like likes each other but can't commit, likes each other, oh conflict, likes each other, oh conflict again, and it's just like they can't get together for the life of them because they need to figure their crap out. It's also about a fisherman and his name is Fox, which I'm just like, what? Then I read Ugly Love. This book was another Colleen Hoover book. I actually really liked this one. His name's Miles. I like the name Miles. And the girl's name is Tate. They start off as like friends with benefits. And then romance happens. There's just a really dark part or like something that happens in it that was like, yo, that's intense. Nothing crazy, but just like a backstory part that they like talk about. Looking back now, I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Nothing crazy memorable. I feel like with Colleen Hoover books, you fly through them, but then you don't remember anything. So if you want a quick read and you're like going on vacation or something, just bring one of these. It eats. Then I read, I read Love and Other Words. This one I rated 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. Not as much as I thought I would though, because it was so hyped on TikTok. You know, I feel like this is such a problem with TikTok because like every single time I want to read a book and then I go on TikTok and see, oh, this is the best book ever. Then I read it, it's like not as good, even though it's still a good book, you know? I liked it though. I gave it 5 stars. I can't remember the deets, but it's like Childhood Friends Lovers, which I love. And there's a Childhood Cottage, which I love. 10 out of 10, like it's a 5-star read for sure. And I read Five Little Indians. My mom gave this to me. It's a Canadian book, I'm pretty sure. And it's not popular on Book Talk or anything. I feel like everyone should read this. I also love the pages because they're like uneven. Anyway, also this is my stamp in action. It's so beautiful. Oh, this is also about residential schools. 5 stars. Honestly, anytime it's a historical fiction, 5 stars for me, because how can I, especially about like history that we don't fully learn in school. I did not learn about the extent of residential schools until I picked up Indian Horse. I feel like a lot of people don't understand the extent of residential schools, especially the older generation. So you gotta be active and educate them. The little summary of the back of the book, I don't know what the heck this is. Of Five Little Indians.
The first time he seen a mission, he was 6 years old. Crammed into a boat with a dozen or so little kids, the stepple piercing the clouds as though it floated above them all, unhinged from earth. Taken from their families as small children and confined in a remote church-run residential school, Kenny, Lucy, Clara, Howie, and Macy are barely out of their childhood when they are finally released, with no money or support after years of detention. Oh yeah, I really like this book because it shows like obviously what happens in residential schools, but it also shows the aftermath, which Indian Horse did as well, but like I feel like this one got really deep into the aftermath because it's showing all different types of avenues of life.
Some people were really successful, some people weren't, some people went down bad paths. This one is a lot more relatable. This book was so good. Highly recommend if you want to be educated. And then I read Maybe Someday and Maybe Not. I don't know if I read Maybe Not. There's another one, Maybe Someday, Maybe Not, and then Maybe Now, I'm pretty sure is the last one. Maybe Someday was good. I read it when I was really sick in May. And yeah, like it got me through. Nothing shines out. I'd probably give 3.5 stars. Like I didn't like how he was in a relationship and started developing feelings for someone else. I didn't read this one though because it's about side characters I hated. But I just have this as a reminder because the books are at my aunt's house right now. Just popping in, I totally forgot to talk about Maybe Now, and honestly I'm giving it a 2 stars. It was so useless and it was kind of boring and really cheesy, so yeah. Okay, and then I read Rook, which I did a reading vlog about this. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was like a dystopian, but it was so cool because it's like post technology. Like there was something that happened that caused like a huge war on technology, and technology took over, so they had to stop technology. So it's like people in the 1800s, 1700s that like had to do horse-drawn carriages and like steampunk, only use candles, no electricity, but it's like years in the future. So I thought that was really interesting, and my cousin gave it to me and she's like, this is one of my favorite books. So I'm like, okay, bet. But yeah, Rook is really creative. It's young adult, no spice, but like super cute, super fun. It took me a second to understand it, but then all of a sudden I was hooked. Like the second it got to this one part, I was like hooked and I was ready to read. You could say I was rooked. And then I read The Paris Apartment. A patient actually gave me this book and it was so cute. I think I'm gonna say I gave it, I'm gonna say 4.5, 4 stars, like 4.25. This book was a thriller, but I started realizing stuff beforehand. So basically this girl's brother goes missing, long story short, and she ends up going to his apartment, can't find, starts thinking that all the people in the apartment building are suspicious. Then you start finding out things. It was kind of predictable. There was some plot twist though, and it was overall very eerie, so I liked that. Great thriller. Always feel a little bit scared going to bed at night. That's when you know you're reading a good thriller. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Then the next 2 books I'm going to talk about, I read in Newfoundland. So the first one was Happy Place by Emily Henry. I love Emily Henry. That book is so cute, Happy Place. I thought that this book was really realistic in the sense that this love was so realistic, because it's like their circumstances make it hard for them to be together, and I just thought that was really interesting. However, I like low-key disagreed with the girl's career path at the end, and to each their own. I think I gave it 5 stars. Emily Henry, like, her books are so good. And then the next book I read in Newfoundland, I didn't think I was going to read a lot of books in Newfoundland, so I was like, oh, I'll just throw this in, not thinking I would like it. It's called Before I Fall. This book is like a thriller. I would say it's a thriller. A young adult thriller, so it's not too scary, and you're more so just like connecting the pieces. It's basically like a happy death day. Like, this girl, she keeps waking up in the same day and she keeps dying at the end, or someone else is dying, so she needs to like figure out how to fix it, and like what she did wrong, and like fix all the wrongs and connect all the dots and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing. I think I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because I didn't like the ending. Then right before I went back to school, September long weekend read, it's called Regretting You. I hate cheating so much, and this is about like a little bit about cheating. So like maybe you want to die low-key, but it's really good. So basically,
Morgan Grant and her 16-year-old daughter Clara would like nothing more than to be nothing alike. Morgan is determined to prevent her daughter from making the same mistake she did by getting pregnant and married way too young. Morgan put her own dreams on hold. Clara didn't want to follow in her mom's footsteps. Her predictable mother doesn't have a spontaneous bone in her body. With varying personalities and conflicting goals, Morgan and Clara find it increasingly difficult to coexist. The only person who can bring peace in the household is Chris, Morgan's husband, Clara's father, and the family anchor. But peace is shattered when Chris is involved in a tragic, questionable accident. The heartbreaking, long-lasting consequences will reach far beyond just Morgan and Clara. While they struggle to rebuild, everything has crashed, blah, blah, blah.
Low-key Gilmore Girls vibes. But yeah, there's just like a hint of cheating, which I don't vibe with. It's, okay, if you guys watch Gilmore Girls, this is like season 5. I'm gonna give it like a 4 star. Like, it's nothing that memorable. Could I tell you like the plot points? No. Was it cheesy? Yeah. And then I read The Kind Worth Killing. Let me tell you. My brother's girlfriend gave this to me for my birthday, and I was waiting to read it. So I read this in like the start of September. It was actually really good. It's a very small book, only 305 pages. It was kind of predictable, kind of not. Really dark, y'all. Like, very dark thriller, kind of disgusting. I was like, okay, but also like, ew, you know? Like, I don't know.
On a flight from London to Boston, Ted meets Lily. Over martinis, the strangers play a game in which they reveal intimate details about themselves. Ted talks about his wife, Miranda, and how their marriage is gone stale. How a week ago he got her in a stunning betrayal. But what begins as playful banter between Ted and Lily takes a swift turn when Ted claims, half seriously, that he would kill his wife. Then Lily surprises him by saying she'd like to help. Back in Boston, Ted and Lily forge an unusual bond and talk about the ways Ted can get out of his marriage. But Lily has her own dark history.
And then there's also The Kind Worth Saving, which I'll probably read when it comes out because the ending ended on a plot twist. A big plot twist. But yeah, like, this book took me like a little bit to get into, but once I was in it. Yeah, I'd give it a 4.5. It was really dark though. Like, probably the most dark out of all the thrillers I read this year. And the next one I read was, The Reckoning. This one, took me from like October to like this halfway through November. This one was a fatty. She was a fatty. I rate it 4-star. It was 582 pages. Yes, they were small, but the writing was also kind of small too. Let me just give you a taste.
So it's in October 1946, Clanton, Mississippi. Pete Banning was Clanton's, Mississippi's favorite son, a decorated World War II veteran, the patriarch of a prominent family, a farmer, father, neighbor, and a faithful member of the Methodist Church. Then one cool October morning, he rose early, drove into town, and committed a shocking crime. Pete's only statement about it to the sheriff, to his lawyers, to the judge, to the jury, and to his family was, "I have nothing to say."
There's 3 parts to this book. The part 1 is a shocking crime and like the trial. Then it's like his when he goes to war, like it goes back in time when he was in war, and that was really interesting but also really disgusting. And then it's the rest of the part is like the aftermath, but also in the past what happened while he was at war. And also the ending was actually shocking. Never read him before, and my dad and like a lot of people in my family read him religiously, so I really wanted to read this for the first time. I was actually reading it with my papa. He read it way faster than me though because he had more time, but at one point me and him were both reading it, so that's so cute. And then last but certainly not least, Icebreaker, the one that I tried to not break the spine on, but it like clearly looks like I've read it. Maybe not. I think I did well. I didn't break the spine actually. Let me just tell you, this book was a great distraction during exams. Gave me an escape, a different world, something just to get my mind off of exams and papers and applications and stress. So I'm gonna give it like a 4.5. Obviously it was like really cheesy, but it was the perfect amount. Like I needed this at this moment. And
Arrest me, like I like the cheese, like I'm a cheese girl, I love dairy, like.
And also this is for the girlies who didn't have a Wattpad era. Like this is for us who didn't know what Wattpad was until too late. Okay, and then all these books, I was just like trying to use them as a prop to like lift up the other books so you guys could see. And I started reading Fifth Wave, which I'm not done yet because I put it on pause for the Christmas book, Kingdom of the Sweets, which I'm like which I'm like 1/3 through. This one's a Christmas book. It's about the retelling of the Nutcracker. And then this one is about aliens and like waves. So it's like wave 1, technology gets all messed up. And then wave 2, there's a virus. Wave 3. It's really interesting. It's my first alien-based book. In total, I read 19 books because I technically haven't finished either of these ones. I really want to finish this one quickly and hopefully finish this one before New Year's, so then I can say I read 21 books, but in my title I'm totally saying I read 20 books this year. I'm so sorry guys, I did not film the outro, but I hope you guys have a great day and a great year.